Hello, folks. Welcome back to the Redeemed Marriage Podcast. This is Rusty and Heather Bryant. We're excited to be with you again. Hopefully, you're listening to this on the day that comes out because you can't wait to listen to the Redeemed Marriage Podcast every week. But if it's sometime in the future, that's okay too.
Maybe they're just finding us.
Maybe so. Hey, we just got back from a wonderful weekend down in Lake Placid, Florida.
Yeah.
Had a chance to go down there and do a one-day marriage conference. One of the reasons why I'm bringing this up is because some of you that are listening, you may not know that we do things like that. And so if you're listening and you're like, oh, maybe they should come to my city or maybe they should come to my church, then tell your people about it. We had a great time. It was a one-day conference. We were there from 9 to 4, but we're flexible. We can do whatever works for you and your church or whoever wants to host us. But it was really neat. We spoke on 5 different topics. We called this one was called The 5 Things
Your Marriage
cannot survive
thrive without.
So the 5 things your marriage can't thrive without. And so we talk about things like spiritual intimacy, communication, physical intimacy, boundaries, and then
having fun together.
Yep. So it's a really good that's going to drive me crazy.
Okay, I'll fix it while you're talking.
Okay, so this particular topic. I've got myself a few notes so I can ask Heather some questions because this one's going to we're going to lean on Heather and her experience with this one. And so I told her, I said, hey, I'm gonna send you some bullet points that I need to look at. And I said, hey, but I don't want your phone to go disappear and go blank. And she said, oh,
mine doesn't.
Oh, it won't. And it already did. So she's going to have to fix that for me.
Fine.
Because otherwise I'm just going to sit there and keep putting the passcode in over and over and over. And that's going to be extremely annoying.
It's okay.
So, we would love the opportunity to come to your city and your church or whoever wants to host us. So give us a shout and tell us and ask us to come and visit you.
Yeah. And, one of the cool things is one of the people that were there said that they heard the day before. They were just randomly listening to our podcast, and they heard the day before us say something about Lake Placid, Florida on April 26th, and they were like, that's tomorrow. And they drove 2 hours to be there.
That was great. So it was
really cool.
It was really great to meet some new people, and it was great to just hang out in Florida. So we hopped on a plane on Friday. We did a conference on Saturday and hopped back on the plane and came home today. And here we are hanging out with you. And I'm watching you just sitting over there struggling. You're on YouTube. People are going.
I'm not. Oh.
No, you're not just playing on YouTube. You are literally on YouTube right now.
I know.
And people are watching you on YouTube going, how does this bozo not know how to make her screen not go off?
But they're getting a good view of my hat.
Speaking of, hey, if you're not watching on YouTube, you should go over there because Heather is a walking billboard today for the Redeemed Marriage.
Yes, I am. I wore it on the plane.
Yeah.
I was decked out.
She's got the hat.
Nothing.
She's got the Redeemed shirt on. So
I figured it.
Even that, if you need some redeemed merch, we got you covered.
It's the Redeemed T-shirt and my Redeemed Marriage hat.
Yep.
And it was good times.
And you can also call on Heather for all your technology needs. She is obviously very good.
I knew. Well, I don't have on my glasses, so I was squinting.
We need Redeemed Marriage glasses.
Yeah, we do. Just right here on the side. And they could be red, like the blood of Jesus.
Okay. All right. So anyway, maybe we haven't lost all of our listeners in this little
4-minute intro.
But we're going to be talking today about secrets. This is another one of those marriage killers that We talked about, we've been talking about the last couple of weeks and kind of made a series out of it. And so these are the things, this is the blueprint for how you can kill your marriage if you're interested in doing that. So, I mean, I hope that nobody is, but we're just telling you the things that can destroy your marriage. Yep. And so don't do these things. So today we're going to be talking about secrets and how secrets can destroy your marriage and kill your marriage. And so, obviously secrets is a huge part of our story because with the infidelity and unfaithfulness, obviously your confession, you revealed lots of secrets and things that had been going on that I had no idea were happening. But as I started thinking about secrets, it's not, they're not all big. Yeah. Like secrets that people, that married couples keep from each other. And they don't all lead to infidelity. They don't all mean that you're going to be unfaithful. But these secrets, they start small and then they turn into something else. But if you're listening to this and you're like, well, I've never kept a secret from my spouse because I'm not having an affair, it doesn't have to be that. It can be, secrets. You can keep secrets about lots of things. Yeah. It can be financial things. It can be just emotional things, feelings, and things that you're not sharing with your spouse. And, obviously relational things, whether they lead to infidelity or not. There's just a lot, even just hiding, hiding text messages, hiding where you're going, hiding where you've been, hiding what you're doing. There's just lots of things that can come between a couple when secrets are involved. And so one of the things that I think is really important to recognize is just that when secrets start, they don't normally start out as something that you feel like is something big.
Right.
I mean, rarely does something happen and you go, oh my goodness, I've got to keep this hidden from my spouse. Yeah. It's like there's little secrets leading up to that. And those little secrets, you kind of think, that's not that big of a deal. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I thought you could address just that part of it and how that played such a role in your story.
Yeah, well, as you were talking about that, I was thinking about how when I started keeping secrets, it's because I had emotions or feelings or thoughts that I was scared to tell you or ashamed to tell you. And I didn't want to hurt you. So I can remember when the enemy started just going after me with thoughts of, I wonder what it would be like if I was married to that person. Or I wonder what it would be like if I had married that person. And we're talking about not keeping secrets from your spouse, but I don't think that's something I should have come to you and said, hey, I've been thinking about what it would be like if I was married to so-and-so, or if I had married, whoever. I mean, that's not something that I need to confess to you, but I should have confessed it to somebody. And that to me is the earliest part that I can remember secrets. Confessed it to a mentor or a friend or someone that would push me back to the Lord and say, hey, these thoughts are not right. Let's take those captive and let's start making those obedient to Christ. And so I think that they can be as early as that when it comes to your marriage and your relationship. But I think about people who, especially like financial stuff, that you just say, oh, well, I'm just not going to tell him I bought that. Yeah. Or I'm not going to tell him I spent that because he wouldn't understand. He wouldn't want me to get it. She wouldn't want me to get it. So I'm just going to buy it and just not tell him. And even though that's not a secret that little bitty secret maybe couldn't destroy your marriage, it sure does open the door to you being able to keep secrets from your spouse. When you were introducing, I was trying to think, what are some good secrets that if you're planning a surprise party, or if you're let's use common sense. There are times where for a moment you have to keep some secrets if you're trying to surprise your spouse with a trip or whatever. But in general, you should feel like an open book. Now, with that being said, I know some people, just from counseling different people, I've heard, not just with marriage coaching, but just walking with women in general, I've heard, I don't want my spouse. Does it matter that I go to Starbucks every morning? If he knew I went to Starbucks every morning, he would give me grief about spending that much money, And I just think that needs to be a discussion where it's like, hey, I'm going to go to Starbucks and get my drink, and I don't want to hide that from you, but I don't need you questioning me every day. Why are you going, blah, 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 blah. So I think that there's just some mature conversations that you need to have regarding secrets. Okay, confession. Not because I was trying to keep it a secret, but I haven't had time to tell you. Do you remember when our cute son, I'm not going to say which one, texted today and said he was low on gas money?
You gave him gas money.
I did, just a little. I just put a little bit, Venmo'd him. And then I went, shh.
Well, man, here's exactly what we're talking about.
But I was totally going to tell you. It's just because he needed to know that was for me.
Oh, dear.
But I'm just saying, like, I wouldn't keep things from you like that. But I also know that there are lots of things out there that people are probably thinking, do I have to tell them everything? Like, when I go buy a dress or when I do this, it just opens the door for it being easier and easier and easier to keep a secret.
Well,
and they can get bigger.
Yeah. Since we're on that something that you just shared, even when you say, like, obviously I knew this was not going to be something big, or you wouldn't have just said it on a podcast. But even when you said, a confession, I need to, but like that still stirs something in me, and like stirs up like just this, and it's a brief, momentary, but it's like, uh-oh. And so I think that's another thing that people have to be really careful about, is that when there has been broken trust and when there has been some betrayal, that then it becomes maybe even more important to be open about some things that you might not, that you would have thought, yeah, that's not that big of a deal, because then there's the smaller things can just cause you to check up and go, well, what, if you're not honest about that, then what else are you not honest about?
Well, but I love that we're having this moment right here on a live recording, but also like the fact that it makes you go, ooh, over just like something that I was going to tell you anyway, it stirs in me like, well, gosh, like maybe I shouldn't have said anything if it upset him. And that's also what, that's what the enemy wants us to do. The enemy wants us to say, oh, well, I don't want to upset him, or this might hurt, or maybe I should protect him. And then you're justifying keeping a secret, And like at the beginning, when I was saying that would have crushed you at the beginning, and it was just a thought. And we have said so many times, a thought is not a sin, but what you do with it is. So if I was able to have those thoughts and go, hey, I'm taking that captive, that is not from the Lord, then there's no reason for me to then say that to you or to anybody. But because I was considering it, because I wasn't able to take it captive and make it obedient to Christ, then that's when I should have stepped out and said, hey, I've got some stuff going on that I need some help dealing with. Not to you, because it just would have been painful if I could have dealt with that, with my mentor.
Yeah. Do you think when you say, well, I didn't want to tell you things, and let's even go beyond that step.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know that you're going all the way back to the root of something.
Sure.
And so yes, that's a secret, but it's something that if you had been able to take captive, but it's probably something, like you said, that needed to be talked through with somebody that could give you biblical advice and
Mm-hmm.
good advice, and but when you went further than
Mm-hmm.
that and started taking some more steps that led to more secrets,
Mm-hmm.
I think that even then, because you've said it before, you're like, well, yeah, I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want to hurt you. But do you think that really it's not so much you don't want to hurt the other person, it's really you're protecting yourself?
Sure. Absolutely. I think that I
And
was
that's you're just justifying
justifying.
it by
Sure.
saying, oh, I don't want to hurt them, so I'm
Mm-hmm.
not going to say anything because that would hurt them. But
Yeah.
really, it's really all about you, even at that point, right?
Sure. I mean, yes, but I also think it's both
Mm-hmm.
because you had not done anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I just knew that if I said it out loud, yes, I was justifying not saying it because I was embarrassed and I would have been humiliated and I would have looked like the bad guy. So, yes, but I also, there was something in there that was like, he has done nothing wrong. Like, he has been such a great husband to me, and that's going to crush him.
Mm-hmm.
Now, can I look at it from your point and go, yeah, but if you had told me the first steps, it would have hurt, but it wouldn't have caused the damage that it did. And so I can see that obviously now, but that's how I see it a little bit more of what you're saying, that I was justifying it.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I knew that if I had confessed to those secrets, told you those secrets, not only would I have hurt you, been embarrassed, been mortified, but also like it would have stopped.
Mm.
And I wasn't ready for it to stop.
Mm.
So there's just all kind of things that were going through my head. And I 100% thought I had it under control.
Mm-hmm.
It was just, this isn't going to hurt anybody. I'm not going to hurt him. If I told him, that would hurt. So I'm not going to tell him because I totally have this under control.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's the case with a lot of secrets. People that we walk with that have financial hurt, it's under control. I'm going to pay this back.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to get that money back in there before they ever knew it. People who keep pornography a secret, they're not going to know. I've got this under control. It's just making our sex life better. It's just, whatever that the justification is. You justify the sin and you think you have it under control the whole time.
Yeah.
Until you don't.
Yeah. So you, like you just said, until you don't. You think you have it under control until you don't. And it's because secrets are a breeding ground for more secrets.
Absolutely.
So just talk about that a little bit, as just as far as, how one secret made it easier to have another secret, and they just kept snowballing.
Yeah. And they kept snowballing, and they kept getting, well, I guess that's what snowballing means, that they kept getting bigger. Mm-hmm. And not only that, but I felt like the more people I was lying to. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like I knew, okay, I'm going to keep this from you. But then all of a sudden I had to keep it from a friend. And then all of a sudden I was keeping secrets from my parents and my kids. And the bigger it got, it felt like the more people I was lying to and the more people I was keeping secrets from. That's why it may not have been the point of what you wanted this podcast to be, but going back to the initial, if I could catch somebody, if somebody was listening to this and could look back or think, gosh, I'm in that beginning stage, just know it's going to snowball. Like there's never a point that you're going to go, okay, it's as big as it's going to get and I've got it completely under control. You may for a while, but it's going to come back up. and it's going to surface. I know for sure that, Scripture tells us in Psalm 139 that nothing is dark to the Lord. Everything is in the light. Darkness is as light to him. So even though you think I've got all this covered and nobody's ever going to know, it's blanketed and it's dark. Nobody's ever going to see the light of it. God knows.
Mm-hmm.
And he wants things to come into the light so that they can be dealt with.
Well, let's talk about that for a second, because I think that there may be some people out there that are like, okay, I that was in the past. I've got these secrets. I've covered them all up. There's no way anybody's going to find out. But what does that do to a person that doesn't confess?
Mm-hmm.
Because we've had lots of couples that have ended up confessing years after whatever happened, and they just can't continue living the way that they were living. And so I don't, nobody really, if it's somebody like me that hasn't lived through a lie like that and lived through secrets like that, I don't think we know the feeling of the fear and the weight of all of that, the weight of the secret. So, just maybe share why it's so important, even if it's after the fact.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's that's part of our story, and it's a part of stories that we hear often. Like if you're listening to this and we've done marriage coaching with you and you think, oh, they're definitely talking about us. Probably not, because there's so many that have this as part of their story, and it's part of our story. On a Tuesday, I confessed to stuff. And then on a Saturday, I confessed to everything. I was still trying to keep secrets even after confession.
Right.
And that's been the case with several people that we have counseled. Lots and lots of people that we counsel. It's like, okay, this comes out, this secret came out, but I'll just speak for me, but I'm telling you, we hear this time and again, is that I was still thinking, okay, I lost control of that part, but I'm still in control of the whole thing. Like I'm still going to hold on to what I can. And I justified it by saying, okay, if he forgives this, it's going to be a miracle. But if I tell him everything, there's no way he's going to forgive me, or it's going to be too much. And, and I can just hear the enemy saying, you better not tell him that part. You better not tell him everything. You've told him enough. And that is the truth that I have heard from person after person after person. And the person who has been betrayed or the person who has been lied to, every single one of them say, there is no way to start over unless I know it all.
That's right.
There's no way. It is so hard to build a new foundation if it's not built on complete honesty, everything out in the open. And I'm going to tell you, as horrible as that Friday was, as painful as that day was, I, for the first time, felt like I could breathe, because I was like, there's nothing else. Like, it all. And even though, and we've talked about this before, I took that secret, I took that shame, I took that guilt, and I just threw it on you, and it became yours to carry. I still carried guilt and shame, but I took that lie and just took it off of me. And then it was like, I had such freedom of, I didn't have anything else to hide. And hiding can eat you alive. It steals your joy. It keeps you from being able to focus and give energy to what you need to give energy to. And then there's this constant fear that somebody's going to find out.
Yep.
It's a constant fear of, it was me hiding things all the time. Okay, did I delete that? Did I answer that? Did I hide this? It was puzzle pieces constantly making sure that I was covering my tracks of what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
And mine was a really big lie, but it also was a 3-month lie.
Mm-hmm.
Like there are people who have kept secrets like this for years, and they forget. Oh, wait, what did what lie did I tell that time?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, Rusty, I look back at even my 3-month story, and I would lie about where I was. I would lie about who I was with. I would lie about where I was going. I mean, it was, and then I couldn't remember. Did I tell him that? Wait, where did I tell him I was going? I mean, it was insane. It was a prison. It was literally a prison. And I talk to people who think they have it all covered up and that everything's fine, and their spouse will never find out.
Well, that's the part that I think you don't even realize that, yes, the secrets are one thing, but when you don't confess or don't tell it all and you're weighed down by all that, then you're killing your marriage in that way, because there's no way to have full emotional connection because you can't be fully present in your marriage if you're hiding secrets. And you don't even really realize that. So that's just another part of it that's not just about the secret. It's just what the secrets do to you, which causes your marriage to be destroyed. It's not even just the secret itself that you're hiding that destroys the marriage. It's what that secret is doing to you.
That's right.
And then what I wanted to also speak on for just a second is when secrets are revealed to somebody that has been betrayed in whatever way that it is, the betrayal and the actual act of whatever it is that you did, it's painful and it hurts the person, obviously. But the real damage is all of the lies and the trust that's broken over this long period of time, or even if it's a short period of time, because it's this broken trust that spans more time than just the act of the betrayal.
Right.
And so then it just becomes, how will I trust you again if there was this time period where everything that you did was lies and secrets and covering things up? And so it's just the reality that trust is destroyed over this period of time, and not just in one moment of, now I've betrayed you.
Right. Of confession.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and I think that yes, there are some, instances where somebody could make a financial decision, and it is that one time they made that one-time financial decision and they tried to cover it up, and then finally it came out. But I think even then, still, the betrayed spouse then is always thinking, well, if you can cover that up, what else have you covered up through the years, and what else can you do?
Yeah, well, and I'm going to tell you, it becomes easier. I mean, seriously. Like you do this little bitty lie and you get away with it, and there was no consequence, so it just becomes easier to do the next time. And you just think that you've got it covered. It's just like, I've covered all my bases. This is not going to come out. And it's you think, oh, I'm living, I'm getting, what's that phrase? Scot-free?
Yeah.
Got off scot-free?
Scotch-free.
Scotch-free?
Scot-free. I don't know.
But whatever. You think that you've gotten away with it. And then things always tend to rear their ugly heads.
Well, we always teach that there's this, when there's been any type of betrayal, broken trust, there's a starting point that you have to get back to.
That's right.
And the starting point for healing, you can't even get there without full transparency. And we always say those S's, the stop, and then sever, and then no more secrets, and then drawing a line in the sand. and then you have a starting point.
That's right.
So the steps in that is stop doing what you're doing, sever it where there's no, like, that's not happening again, and then here's the total transparency. There's no more secrets.
Yep.
And it feels like that's something that's going to be risky and going to be damaging, and yes, there's going to be tons and tons of pain, but it's actually the only thing that's going to create safety or begin to create safety to start rebuilding trust. Without it, there's never going to be full trust again.
Right.
So you have to have, a full transparency, and there's no more secrets, and I'm not going to tell any more secrets.
And that word sever, I mean, we got that when we did our 4 S's, we got that from Scripture because, I mean, the Bible tells us that if your right arm is causing you to sin, cut it out. Cut it off.
Cut it off.
If your eyes are causing you to sin, pluck them out. Like, get rid of it. Like, sever. Not just, I think I'll stop, but sever. And that seems really extreme and really hard, but it's biblical and it's necessary. Yeah. We have seen that it's necessary.
So here's our encouragement and our challenge. If you're a spouse that's holding on to some secret, our encouragement is you can rebuild trust, but you have to start with full transparency. You have to tell the secrets, and there can be no more secrets. And then for those of you that you've been betrayed and those secrets have been confessed to you and you feel like there's no way out of this, we want you to know that we have lived through the worst of the betrayals for a husband and a wife. And, now there is full transparency. And because of that, it was a long road to recovery, but we are a marriage that's much better than we were even before the lies and the secrets even started. So, but it all starts with honesty and repentance, and that happens with the transparency, and then it becomes both ways.
Yep.
That you both become transparent and honest and open about everything.
And, I believe that the more you do it, the easier it is. Like, the more you just talk about those, we're not perfect. We're both sinners. And so we do things sometimes that are disappointing. And you've got to get over yourself in the fact that you're never going to disappoint your spouse. Like, I tell you things and say things that I've done they might disappoint you, but you love me. And I know that you love me. And I know that even if I sent $20 to one of our kids, it would eat at me because I just know that honesty is that important. And if I hide even a little something, it gets easier to hide something else. Mm-hmm. And that's the challenge.
And guys, please don't think that $20 to our own children is a big deal.
No.
But
yes.
There was more of a story to that. He was texting us and complaining about having to pay for gas.
Suck it up.
Yeah, and we were like,
and then I went soft.
Yeah, so there's way more to the story than I gave our kids $20 and I need to tell my husband that I gave $20 away.
That did sound really extreme. Like, why do I have to tell him if I sent
and what kind of dad is that dude? I pay a lot of money for somebody's college. So there's some agreements that we've made along the way.
Right.
And some of those agreements were pay for your own gas, please. I'll pay for your massive tuition bill.
That's right. You're right. And there was more to that story than just me sending him money. Like, we had discussed it and there was some texting going on and we had already talked about it. So, thanks for clearing that up.
Yeah.
Because somebody was listening.
Feeling really bad about my dad
going,
skills.
Not only are you a loser dad, but your wife has to confess to giving your child money.
Yeah, that was a lot. Okay, but for you guys, no more secrets, all right? All right, we'll see you guys next time.
Peace.
Peace.